Hello, good day, and welcome to another edition of Sports Check here on Ghana Web TV. My name is Daniel Ojo, and as usual, I bring you another exciting interview. Today, my guest is someone who I'm really excited to speak with. These days, we throw about the word legend very loosely, but if there is a man who best describes the word legend, it is my guest today. Today, my guest is three-time world boxing champion, Berima Azumah Zoom Zoom Nelson. He will tell us the genesis of his career and how he managed to stay on top of his game for so long and has become a legend of the sport. When we return from this break, we'll delve right into the conversation. Stay with us. You're welcome back from the break. You're still here on Sports Check on Ghana Web TV. Today, my guest is Berima Azumah Nelson, the Boxing Hall of Famer who has joined us today. Prof, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for inviting me.
You are the embodiment of excellence, and every time I speak to you, I'm excited. I'm told that you are celebrating your 60th birthday in a couple of days. How were you able to keep your faith in God and your trust in God after you made so much money at a very young age and you were a world champion? It must have been difficult because there will be a lot of distractions, a lot of people who want you to indulge in all sorts of vices.
Yes, but the Bible says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You know, you need to know God. When you know Him and you know what God is doing for you, or when you have something, you know that, no, this thing, God gave it to me, you know. So I have to be humble, you know. I know that there's something, you know, there's somebody directing my steps. You know, so I don't want to become arrogant, you know, to get out from that place that I am, that everything is going well with me, you know, and everybody can be on that umbrella,
Yeah.
you know, but if only they can humble themselves and give themselves to God.
Okay. When you were a young boy and you were growing up, did you always wanted to become a boxer? Or boxing was an accident?
No, boxing wasn't an accident. My father loved boxing so much. He wanted to be a boxer, but my grandfather didn't allow him to become a boxer. So what happened is he goes to boxing. He like go to boxing matches, and you know. So when he's going, one day he took me to the boxing match, and I saw two small boys fighting. You know, and after the fight, I saw, I don't know whether sweat or the boy is crying or is sweat. So when I saw the water, I said, no, Daddy, you should take me to the ring. I want to fight the other one, the big one who beat the small one. And he said, okay. But before I realized we are home. So since then, I've been telling my father, take me to some place I want to fight.
Wow.
You know. So one day I was in my mother's family house, and I saw a man with a small boy. But I saw boxing shoes, small size of boxing shoe that the man's holding. And when I look at the boxing shoe, the size of the boxing shoe, and I look at the boy, the small boy, I can see that no, this boxing shoe is for this small boy. So I went to the man and I called him and asked him, is this boy a boxer? And he said yes. So I said, but I can beat him.
Oh, really?
And he said no. I said, okay, then let's fight. And then he said, no, if I want to fight, I should come to the gym. He directed me, showed me the place, and he showed me the time. So, in fact, I was watching the time so that I can get there. So when it's getting to the time, I called my friends and we went there.
Was your father aware of this?
Yes.
Okay.
And we went there.
Okay.
So when we went, they came to they were at the gym. So I went there and called the man, and I told him, Coach, I'm here. And he looked at me and he said, who are you? I said, oh, I'm the one who said I'll beat your boy. You know. And he said, oh, yeah. Okay. And then he put the gloves on me and put the gloves on the boy, and we start fighting, you know. But when I threw the punch, the boy dodged, you know. Then he punched me. When I threw, he dodged and punched me, you know, and then he beat me very well, you know. So we finished, so we have to go home. So when we are going,
so you lost that first bout.
I lost that first bout. When we're going, nobody was talking. I'm not talking. My friends are not talking. I don't know what they are thinking. That, oh, and I'm thinking. I'm saying that actually I've disgraced my friends, you know, and I don't know what my friends are thinking. So when we go to our houses, we passed and then we went to our house. So I went home. I was sitting down thinking, you know, that what did I do wrong? You know, because when the boy do this, okay, I'm supposed to do this. When you do this, I said, okay, I've seen the plan. I'll go again. Then following
rematch.
Rematch. Following day, I went again. You know, this time I didn't go with my friends.
You went alone. You were afraid you disgraced them again.
Again. I went alone. And when we fought again, the guy beat me again. But he didn't beat me like.
Okay. So there was improvement.
That means there is improvement coming.
Yes.
You know? So then I went again. I fought him again. I see that no, this time is draw. I went again, I fought him and I won this fight. You know, gradually until my one coach from, they transferred him to Kumasi, his name is Tatuko Kote, the one who trained me very well as a boxer. You know, he went to, they transferred him to Kumasi, so he came back from Kumasi, you know, and he came and opened a gym. So my coach took me there. So we start everything afresh. How to stand and how to paddle the punch, how to defend, you know, we show us everything. We start fighting gradually, you know. So that is the beginning.
Wow. So in those periods, was your dad now realizing that, okay, this is what my son wants to do, let me support him?
No, from the beginning, my father was support me.
Okay.
You know, he was supporting me in everything. My father was a tailor.
Okay.
You know, so he sews shorts. And he would write the names on the shirt for me. Terrible Terror. You know,
okay. So that was your first nickname?
Yeah. Courageous Azumah, Mighty Warrior, and all kind of these names. You know, it's my father who gave it to me.
Wow.
Gave to me, and then he encouraged me. Sometimes he showed me how to punch.
So where was your mother in all of this? I'm sure he's seeing his son taking some punches.
No, my mother is there, but she's not too much interested with, because me and my father always, you know, go. My mother, you know, yes, hello, and how are you?
Wow.
Man have to do a man's job.
Yeah. So when did you decide to take this? You were part of the Black Bombers,
Yes.
Okay. So at what point did you decide to join the Black Bombers? Or what was the story behind you joining the Black Bombers?
You know, we fought for what the name? National festival.
Okay.
Yes, and I became the champion. You know, and then I joined the Black Bombers.
Okay.
So, my division, I was a flyweight, and I became the flyweight champion.
Okay.
So we have to. I have to join the Black Bombers, and then when they are traveling, we have to travel together.
Okay.
And we will be traveling together, and as a Black Bomber, fighting for the nation. And we went to African Games, Commonwealth Games, World Military Games, and then when I came back, I realized that I have to. Turn professional. But then I wanted to be a military.
You wanted to be a military man?
Yes, military man. When Rawlings, the former president Rawlings said, and because when I was amateur, when we were amateurs, he take care of us, you know. So he said that what he saw in me is not. He don't want me to be military.
Oh, really?
Man, yes. So he didn't allow me to join the force.
Wow.
So So that's because of that, I always say, I always thank him, and I don't know how to say thank you to him, but I pray for him every day and every time, through him, God passed through him to give me the advice not to not
Yeah,
to join.
because if you had joined the military.
Yeah, not if I join the military, maybe I'll be a sergeant for my last position. My last rope, I'll get
Be sergeant.
If
That
not
is why
for-
you have a special relationship with former President Rawlings.
Yes, he likes me, and I like him, So, and I took him like my father,
Yeah.
Right now, all my father has passed away. All the old men have
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
Remaining our one old man called Atokwashi.
Yeah, Atokwashi Jim
Yeah, that's he's my uncle.
Is the man who the Atokwashi Jim was named after, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He's the only one that remain now. So,
Wow.
so everything is cool.
What were some of the early challenges when you started boxing? Were there challenges? Did you at some point say, you know what, this thing is not working?
No, I never said that this thing is not working. Cannot work. I live in Maprobe, so I have to in the afternoon I have to run from Maprobe to Accra,
Okay.
like Akotoko Academy. So after the training, I have to run back to Maprobe. So that's what I'm doing. But I love what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing, so I don't feel tired. I don't feel lazy.
Yeah.
I don't feel disappointment. I always feel encouragement. I always encourage myself. Because I know that as soon as I start the box, I know that I'm going to be a world champion.
You knew that from the very beginning.
Because they told me already. God told me already that He will make me a world champion.
Really?
And after the world champion, He will make me bigger than world champion.
So you knew from the beginning?
From the beginning, I know everything. So everything that I do, I give it to God. I know that it's God who's telling me to do this. So people will say, yeah, but you, the way you are humble, how can you, you are quiet, you are
too
cool.
quiet.
How can you fight
Punch
like
like
that?
that.
I said, yes. When the Holy Spirit took control, you see how.
Wow, that's an amazing story. But a lot of things have changed in boxing. When you were boxing, it was 15 rounds.
Yes.
Now these young men are going 12 rounds. You think they are not strong enough to go 15 rounds, or you think the decision to reduce it is a good decision?
No, it's a good decision because 15 rounds is long rounds. It's good for people like us who we have the courage, we have the faith, we love to like people. When I'm fighting somebody, we see when we start 12 rounds, when we get to 9 rounds, from the 3 rounds to like we get to when we fight 9 and we're going to 10. Then you see me charging.
Okay, you're not getting into your groove.
Yeah, now I'm coming up. So if it's a small boy, like a boxer who don't have the passion, just learning and doing, he cannot, he cannot go to the 15 rounds. And the WBC tried to reduce the rounds because they feel like from 12 going is too much for the punishment, So people are getting hurt that much, so have to reduce it to 12 rounds. But it's okay.
It's okay. Today, the boxers are making a lot of money. Of course, you made some money, but these days the amounts they are making, Floyd Mayweather fights one fight and he makes over $50 million, etc. First of all, did you make money from boxing?
You see, I made millions of dollars from boxing.
Okay.
But my life is not about money.
Okay.
So I don't know whether I'm a rich man or I'm a poor man or I'm a middle man. As far as I go to bed, I pray, and I go to bed, I wake up, I thank God, you know, I can get something to eat, you know, I can see my friends happy that I can help somebody I can put a smile on somebody's face. That is all that matters to me.
Wow. What's your most difficult fight?
I always say this over and over again. You know, it's a Mexican guy called Azumah Martinez.
Okay.
You know, and this guy can punch. He knows the act of boxing, and he can hit. When he throws a punch and I block the punch with my hand, I feel like some iron hit my hand. You know, and it can make you confused.
Yeah.
You know, that even if one of these punch hit your jaw, you know, when you go down, you can't wake up again.
Yeah.
You know? So it makes the fight difficult because you have to think extra, you know, and be very, very careful. You know? So it makes the fight so tough. You know? Mexicans, you know,
very strong.
Very, very strong.
Yeah.
Know? So you need to think so hard. You know?
We're still here on Sports Check on Ghana Web TV. Today my guest is a very true legend in every sense of the word. Professor Azumah Nelson put a lot of smiles on our faces while we grew up as young men and as journalists. Today I have a privilege to speak with him, get an insight into how he started his boxing career, some of the challenges along the way, and a word of advice for the young generation hoping to emulate his footsteps. Prof, let's talk about this. My fondest memory of you is about, I don't remember who, but when you were coming, they were playing the song Asembi River, Asembi River, Asembi River. Oh. I don't know if you remember that bout.
Yes. I remember that bout. I fought the guy once or twice, and I was going to fight him again. You know, and I when I was coming, I was playing that song because when we're sitting here, like right now we are sitting here, and something is coming.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see, you know, but I see. I've seen it, and I'm telling you that something is coming. Are you ready? I have how prepared you are.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I'm telling him. That I mean.
Who was that bout against? Do you remember?
Yes, I forgot his name.
Okay.
I forgot his name, but I forgot his name.
But you won that fight. Did you win that fight?
That song, yes, I knocked him out.
Wow.
That song, you know, and he's the one I lost to 2 times.
Okay.
You know, and I retired. Because I said if I retired, if somebody beat me 2 times, I retired.
But you came back from retirement and fought Jeff Fenech, right?
No, that one is
come back.
Foundation.
Your foundation thing, okay.
That one's like exhibition fight.
Okay. And another thing we heard about when we were growing up was the famous Azumah Nelson limousine. It was the first in. They say it was the first in Ghana.
I don't know, but I saw it and I fell in love with it.
You like cars?
I like cars.
Okay.
Know, before.
Before.
When
you was a young man.
Yes.
Okay.
When I was a young man, I like cars. So I saw it and I said, oh, I like this car.
You saw it where?
In America.
In America. Okay.
And I said, oh, I like this car. You know, I'll buy some. You know, and I bought one and I bought it. You know.
So it's a very expensive car.
Everything's expensive. You know, everything is expensive. You know, it depends your weight.
Your pockets.
Your weight. Yes.
But is that car still around? How many years ago did you buy that car?
You were young then.
I was.
Yes, yes. Maybe more than 20 something years.
Wow. And the car is still there?
You see it.
You
see
see?
it on the 21st. I'll bring it to the box.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So Azumah Nelson says on the 20 what?
21st.
21st, we'll see the famous limousine at the Bukom Boxing Arena when we hold the next edition of the Azumah Nelson Fight Night. We'll try and wrap up our interview in the next couple of minutes. But Azumah, your son wanted to be a boxer. Where has he been? I mean, we want to see the next generation. But the Polish children are playing football. Azumah Nelson's son should be boxing. Where is he? You've kept him somewhere. We don't see him these days.
No, boxing, you cannot force anybody to be a boxer.
Okay.
If you want to fight, okay. If you feel like, maybe someday he can start, like, oh, I love to fight. Maybe what he saw, he want to do something. Like, oh yeah, I saw my daddy, fighting. My daddy was a boxer. He was a world champion. I want to do something. But it's up to him if he can pass through.
Okay.
The pains, the hard work, the humbleness, the determination, all kind, the spiritual, physical, everything that, if he can pass through, I can't stop him.
Okay. But have you spoken with him? I mean, you are his father. Have you asked him if that's what he wants to do?
But that's why. No, he's training.
Okay.
He's training he's training. So if you want to fight, I like I'm saying, I cannot force him to fight.
Okay.
If he say, no, I'm not going to fight today. I'll stop fight today. Okay. It's up to you. You can't force him.
Azumah, I want to ask you this. I know maybe it's going to make you a bit sad, but the story about your late wife. How big an influence was she in your life and in your career?
She's the when you're talking about women, yes, not every woman is not a woman.
Yeah.
This is a woman who can die for you, So you can't talk about her. I can't talk about her too much, but she's the best.
The best.
But we all love her so much, but God loves her more. So I would say may soul rest in perfect peace. Whatever the soul is.
Did her passing affect you badly?
Very. But that is
In the past.
That's the past. We look forward. I know one day I'll meet him. I'll meet her.
Yeah.
One day I'll meet her. Definitely, I know I'll meet her. Face to face.
You never married again, did you? Or you married again?
No, I'm married, but it didn't work.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
we divorced.
We're speaking with the legend, Barima Azumah Zoom Zoom Nelson, and as we wrap up our show, we'll talk about the Azumah Nelson Fight Night, which comes up next month, which will also be part of his 60th birthday celebrations. And 60 years on earth for Azumah Nelson is a big day, and we all need to celebrate it. What was the story behind the name Barima Azumah Nelson, or the professor? Who gave you that name?
The Abure chief,
Ah.
the one passed away. Yes, he gave me the Barima.
Okay. So is it a chieftaincy title?
Yes.
Oh, so you're a chief.
It's like Koswohini or something,
I see. And the name Professor too, the Professor Zoom Zoom Nelson.
Professor, when I knock out, I think Fennec.
Okay.
The second fight.
In Australia?
Yes, and they gave me the professor.
Wow, it was the Australian people who gave you the name Professor.
One commentator.
Okay.
The ring announcer.
Okay.
No, it's not ring announcer. His name is Dr. Pacheco.
Okay.
Yes. one of the analysis. He gave the analysis of boxing, and he knows boxing so much.
Wow.
You know, and if you are fighting, and it's getting time for your opponent to knock you out. If he's watching, he can tell you that, he can say that the fight is going to be end. He knows boxing so much that and after before he told me, he called me. He said when he's interviewing me, he said that I'm getting old, so I have to be fast and retire.
Okay.
And I said, I hear. And he's not sure of the second fight of Jeff Fenech, in Australia, because of the way it happens in the first fight in America.
Yeah. And
if before the guy in America like that, and then you go into his home to fight him like that, nobody have courage, nobody have faith, on me that I can beat him. So even Rollins, my old man said, he called me and he said, they said you are going for the money. Because of the money you are going. I said, no. Daddy, I'm going to knock him out. And he said, if you say so, I believe you.
Okay.
And I went, and I told them that if in the evening, when we are going to the ring, I'll call them for them to sit on the telly to watch, so when we go into the ring, I called them, and then we went to the ring, and everybody in Ghana, everybody was afraid.
Yeah.
So the first round, I put him down, to give the Ghanaians some courage. No, this is no problem for the professor.
I see. And you ended up winning that fight.
Yes, I knocked him out. I was supposed to knock him out in the 7th round. So I told my brother, when we get to 6th round, you should tell me.
Okay. You set him up.
I'll set him up in the 6th round, and then 7, I'll take him out. But when we got to the 6th round, after 6th round, my brother was, he couldn't remember me. So he forgot the way the fight was going. He's happy, And then he said, brother, we're going 7 rounds.
I told you.
I told you to tell me, but I can't knock him out in the 7. I have to set him up in the 7 and take him out in the 8.
Okay.
And then I went to the 7 and I set him up, and I came to the corner and I said, I'm going to knock him out. So I went and knocked him out.
Wow.
So then everybody was asking me, how do you set him up?
Yeah.
I said, that's why I'm a professor.
Very much. We are ending our conversation, but your 60th birthday, what are the plans? What are we doing?
Well, my 60th birthday, we're celebrating it from 19th to 21st, because 21st we end up with boxing at the Bukom Boxing Arena.
Okay.
So I'm inviting all of you to come.
Okay. We'll do the Azumah Nelson fight night.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And finally, I want to ask you this. Do you think you have been celebrated enough as a Ghanaian, as a world champion, as an African great?
Yes. I think I haven't regretted anything. I haven't regretted anything, whether celebration or because heaven have celebrated me. So the world is doing what they can.
Okay.
But the important thing is let the heaven celebrate you.
Those were the final words from Barima Azumah Nelson, a man who kept us awake in during his career as a boxer. I remember as a young boy, we wake up in the middle of the night just to watch Azumah Nelson fight. And like I said earlier, if there's a man who can be described as a legend, it is Barima Azumah Nelson, a 3-time world champion, dominated the super featherweight division for well over 10 years and has been inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame. It's been another edition of the show here on Ghana Web TV with me, Daniel Odo. But back same time next week with another edition of the show.